This is Radio Brockley.
Hello and welcome to Radio Brockley. I'm Macie Lewis and I'm joined by the incredible Julie Rogers. How are you today?
I'm absolutely wonderful and it's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So firstly, to start off our interview, can you describe your career for us in 3 words?
In 3 words, I'd have to say that it's
a challenge.
Utterly incredible, really has. Been throughout the world and it's been amazing. An amazing
really
career. I've been very fortunate.
What's been the highlight of your career, would you say?
That's difficult to say because there's been so many. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say in the earlier days, the great thing was, when obviously the wedding was a huge, massive hit throughout the world. But for me, the great thing was to do the Sunday night at the London Palladium because that was the iconic show at that time. And if you were on that was it. You were made. And I did that like 6 months after, well, less than that. About 5 months after the wedding came out, I did the first London Palladium. Then I did about 2 others, with lovely Jimmy Tarbuck.
And that's amazing.
So it was just
incredible.
To the start of a career, that was the great time.
When did you know that performing was the right pathway for you?
Well, I had always sung since I was like 3 years old.
Did you grow up with music then?
There was always music in the house, always. My brothers were like much older than me. They were 15, 16 years older, so they had a fantastic record collection, which we used to, every Saturday afternoon, his friends would come round and I would be barred, obviously, and I'd listen to all this music. And then every Saturday night, my dad would get on the piano, and it was the most amazing thing because he only played on the black notes, which was hysterical. But you had to sing, Of course, the thing was I was extremely shy. So as soon as they said, sing on your own, I used to dart upstairs, But I did overcome that, obviously.
Yeah, I can see, because you do not seem shy at all.
No, not at all. No, it was so, they were good times. But there was always music, always. My 2 sisters, I've got older sisters.
How many siblings do you have?
Well, we were 5, and unfortunately I've just got 1 left now. But the sister that's closest to me, she had a good voice too, but she certainly didn't have the right temperament. She never wanted to go into the business.
No.
But it was something that, I didn't think of when I was, growing up as a kid of 13 or 14. I thought, I've got to be a secretary, which I was. I did become. I did a shorthand typing course. I became, a secretary to solicitors in Denmark Street. And, that was about it. But then when I was 18, a friend of mine told me that where I lived, I used to go shopping in Colindale, and he said, Teddy Foster's looking for a singer. And I said, I don't want to know about that. They're all after one thing, these people. I don't want to know. He said, no, just go. He said, I'll play the piano. Just go out and get, And I went. And I got the job to sing with a 22-piece orchestra.
Which is incredible. And that's actually a question that I was going to ask about the Teddy Foster Orchestra. Because it was the most brilliant thing. And I wanted to know how this helped your career.
Oh, my God, tremendously. I mean, I was completely green, but he had all the new arrangements done to suit my voice to sing. And our first thing was 3 months in Filey, Yorkshire. And I really was thrown in at the deep end, But as I say, I was very shy. And then on a Sunday night, we had to do a concert, and I would be solo. And I remember there was a song called For Mama by Connie Francis, which had a very high note at the end. And Ted said, right, you go out there and you give it all you got. And I didn't give it all I got. It wasn't good. And when I came off stage, he said, right, I'm taking that out. You can't do it. I said, oh, no, you're not taking that out. And the next week I killed it, yeah. And,
Amazing.
So he helped tremendously. And he was a fantastic musician.
Yeah.
And he taught me really everything, to read certain music and all that,
Amazing. So would you say that Teddy acted as a mentor or a role model to you, or was there someone else
mentor,
in your life?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, is there someone else in your life who was also a mentor?
No, I would say Ted was a mentor.
Mm-hmm. Guided you through the industry.
He guided me through the industry, and he knew how dicey the industry is, and he kept that away from me, you know, particularly the agents at the time, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, he was certainly a mentor, and it was a great relationship.
Yes, and you were signed to Philip Records in 1964. Was that before?
64.
Yeah, 1964, yeah. Was that before Sing with Teddy Foster? Or?
No, Ted took me to that.
Oh, he took that, even better. So he guided you there.
That, yeah.
And then you released your debut single, It's Magic. And did you expect it to be such a hit?
No. And then the big one, of course, was The Wedding.
Yeah.
Which, at the time, I mean, it went right the way around the world, number one in most countries. Yeah. Which afforded me the ability to go and tour those countries, you know, and get well known in them all. I have to say now, if they released the Wedding, it wouldn't sell a thing, would it? Because no one gets married anymore, you know.
People do still get married.
Very few. There's not that, thing about marriage that people had in those days. And of course, the term Ave Maria, which is like a Catholic thing. I don't know how that would go down these days.
And you mentioned about touring, and I was going to ask, is there a favourite country you went to when you toured?
Well, you know, it's very difficult because they've all got something individual that you love about them. But I've been to Australia 24 times. I love Australia. I've toured all over.
Would you say out of all the countries you went to, you were the biggest in Australia?
I was very big in Australia and South Africa, very much so. And also in the Far East, Thailand, the Philippines, all those countries. I sold a lot. You know.
How was your experience there?
Fabulous, loved it. I've worked a lot in Thailand in the major hotels, you know. On my way to Australia, I would do a week in, you know, Bangkok or something, you know. So it was great. I loved it.
It sounds incredible. It really does. And you said earlier that a highlight in your career was performing at the Sunday night at the Palladium. What was the best part about this experience?
Well, because it was so iconic, and I mean, I don't think I've ever felt nerves like I did. I thought I was paralysed on stage. I wasn't, and you'd never think I was nervous, but I was so nervous. But it was just like at the beginning of all the big things. And then, of course, in those days, Macie, you had so much fantastic television. I mean, so many variety shows, the Bruce Forsyth, Frankie Howard, Les Dawes, all of these people. So you'd guessed, like Tom Jones, I guessed it on with Tom Jones. You had all these shows that you could go on, and you could probably do at least 3 big variety shows a week. Tommy Cooper, I think I was on every show he ever did, which was hilarious. But of course, that all in the late 80s, that all died off. No more variety, and so I wasn't sort of doing those sort of televisions anymore. Yeah. But it was a great experience.
No, it seemed incredible. It really did, and it seemed like so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And hard work. You know, you'd be up very early in the morning to get to a studio, as you know, about 7 o'clock, and stay all day. Then in the evening you'd be doing a live performance, you know. So it was hard.
So one of your best-selling songs is The Wedding. Yeah. How do you feel knowing that your music is timeless and enjoyable for so many people?
Well, it is great because, I mean, it is still selling very well on compilations and things like that. Well, it's wonderful to have a song that is so big that it identifies you. But, of course, against that, you are a bit categorised, you know. Because, I mean, I was on the same label as Dusty. Yeah. And we were both under Johnny Franz, who was the A&R man at the time. And she was on the label before me. So he tried to steer me in a different, style than Dusty. I mean, I wanted to do a lot of up-tempo, but he wanted all the big ballads from me, you know.
Yeah.
So, and of course at the time, it's only in retrospect that I realised what was happening. But I mean, we used to get these fabulous songs through from Italy, and, you know, Dusty sometimes would have the first choice and I'd have the second choice, you know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, she was a great artist. And, but definitely they tried to steer me into a different genre.
So if you could turn back time, would you say to them, I want to do this instead?
Do you know what? I don't think I would have done, because I think he saw things in me that you didn't see in Dusty and vice versa. Yeah. And I really think that he had my interests at heart, you know. But, you know, I recorded a song with an album with Les Reed that had a lot of up-tempos, but Philips didn't put their back behind it at all. They just didn't put, you know, didn't advertise it at all.
Oh.
So...
yeah.
That was just one of the things that they didn't do, you know.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I was with them for 5 years, and it was very happy.
Okay.
Very, very happy.
That's good. That was all happy.
Yeah.
That's good. And you've also, I've read up that you performed for the royal family at many different venues, including Buckingham Palace. What was going through your mind when you first performed for the royal family, and how did this affect your performance?
Well, it didn't affect my performance. I mean, I was, you know, very proud to do it. I'm a great royalist, and I was very proud to do it. And, you know, I've done quite a lot of them, one way or another. Royal performances, Princess Di, many times I did shows for her charities and that, you know. And also Princess Margaret. And, well, and Charles, you know, so King Charles, I should say now, shouldn't I? Yeah, so, I mean, they're just lovely people. I've always found them so very nice, so interested in what you do. I remember with Princess Margaret, I did a show. It was up in the north somewhere, and it was a royal show. And I'd had this fantastic dress made. It was all see-through, just beaded where it should be. And when I came off the stage, she said, "Where did you get that dress from? That was beautiful." Yeah, and I thought, well, this is Princess Margaret asking where I got the dress from. I said, well, I had that, you know, specially made. But she was a very beautiful-looking woman, beautiful in person.
Another highlight of your career was You Only Live Twice. Can you tell us about your journey to that song?
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. This was the most unbelievable thing that happened. I was with Philips Records, and of course you're contracted. You can't record for anyone else. And I was approached by the bond makers to sing You Only Live Twice. And of course, I had to get permission from Philips to do it. Because I was under contract to them, and I did it with a 45-piece orchestra, and they were very, very happy with it. And then all of a sudden, about a couple of months later, I thought, I wonder what's happening with this, and I didn't know. And then I was contacted and told that they'd given it to Frank Sinatra's daughter because they needed more funding, and they felt that Frank Sinatra helped them, and thought that her name would be a bigger draw, you know. So consequently, she had the main title, and that was one of my disappointments.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did it make you feel? But disappointed.
Well, at the time, Macie, the point was that I was on a high. I'd had, you know, hit records here and there, and everything was going. And I just took it, you know, on my shoulders. Oh, well, that's it. It didn't work out. And Nancy got the job, so, you know, fair enough. And she did a good job on it, but they did have to alter the melody because of the high notes, which she wasn't able to reach. But didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
She still had a hit with it. So it was a very big disappointment, but, you know, that's That's our business.
Obviously, you were in the main light of the industry. So how do you feel about fame?
Oh, I enjoyed it.
You loved it.
I've got to say. I mean, I have to say, I don't think I could take it what they have to go through now. I mean, today, you got to have security and everything like that. I mean, it's completely changed. I mean, it depends how big you were. I mean, I was never as big as a lot of the artists now, and it wasn't required that you had security and things like that. But the world is a different place now, and I mean, it's difficult. But I mean, I enjoyed fame while it's lovely when you go into a restaurant, you're given the best table, you know, all those perks, you know. But I wouldn't want to have the my privacy taken away like a lot of these artists now.
Sometimes it's scary as well.
I think it's, well, look what's happened with Holly Willoughby. I mean, that is the most horrendous thing.
Most horrendous.
And I think that puts the frightener on a lot of very well-known and, you know, people that are in the media every day now. Mm-hmm. Dreadful.
It's just a lot different to how it was in the past.
Oh, yeah. I think you've got more nutters about, to be honest. I really do.
Yeah. Who was your biggest musical inspiration, and has this choice changed over time?
I wouldn't say any one person was an inspiration. I remember when I was 16 and my darling mum said to me, you know, would you like to have some singing lessons? So I said, well, if you think so. And it was a lot of money at the time. It was like 21 shillings, a guinea. And I went to this singing teacher, and after 3 weeks, I thought, this isn't working for me. And he said to me, all you've got to do is copy Doris Day. I said to him, I'm not going to copy anybody. That's not what I want to do. I want to be me. And I stopped going, and that was the end. I never had, you know, any more tuition at all. And I think, you know, what I did have was very, very natural. I had a natural voice. I breathed very well. And, but now, if you want to know who my favourite singer of all time is, Whitney Houston.
I love Whitney Houston.
You know, I think she had everything. Mm-hmm. Great singer.
Amazing
great
singer.
Looking. Great performer. She had it all, didn't she?
She's incredible, and her songs, again, are still being listened to today. I mean, I still listen to her, and I know many other people do.
Of course, absolutely.
And she has a film as well.
Yes,
so
exactly.
She's really, really big still.
No,
amazing.
she was wonderful. That would be my favourite, amongst a few others. But that's...
Yeah, no, she is one of the best, I'd say. And you have many albums as well. So if you could re-record any one of those albums, which one would it be and why?
Oh my God, that is a question I never even thought of.
Throwing you in a deep end.
Well, one that I wouldn't record again, was when I was with Philips. And they wanted me to do a again, that was one of the things I said, he putting me into a different genre, wanted me to do a semi-religious thing. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. It's not me. I don't want to do it. And they said, well, they're very big sellers, you know, things like St. Teresa of the Roses and things like that. And I did do it, but my heart and soul wasn't in it, that's for sure. I just didn't want to do those sort of tracks, you know, but I was under contract, and that was it.
If it wasn't for you,
but I wouldn't do it again. No.
Yeah. So what is an album that you would do again?
I don't think there is anyone that I would do again, because I very rarely listen to anything now. So it's not something I do, you know. You hear an individual song, I think, oh yeah, I could do better now with that, you know. But,
like listening back to anything, you think, I could have done a better job.
That's right.
That's what I think about some stuff that I've done. I think I could do better.
You can always do better, absolutely.
Always room for improvement. But your tracks are amazing, so they sell everywhere.
Thank you.
Amazing. And we asked this earlier about the biggest difference in fame from now and in the past. So besides from fame, do you think there's a big difference in the music industry, particularly from the 1960s when you were active to now.
Completely different, and not only from the 1960s, but from just the last 20 years.
Oh, yes.
It's totally
with
different.
The media rising
I mean,
as well.
singles don't mean anything anymore, and that was the Bible in those days, how you singles. I mean, I was selling like 45,000 a day, which is incredible. No one does that anymore. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
But it's all album, and of course there's a lot more money in it. And touring is the thing now. They don't make their money so much from their record sales.
Thanks to streaming.
Yeah, that's right.
They stream when they get paid tiny.
Except if you're Taylor Swift, and she don't allow streamers. She wants it all, doesn't she? But no, it's completely and utterly different. And of course, I mean, you hear a lot of singers, and then when you hear them live, they can't sing because they're tweaked. If they're singing out a tune, it's put up, put down. So, you know, you really don't have to be a great singer anymore, which I think is sad.
Yeah, definitely with auto-tune, it's very
absolutely
sad. But a lot of people are still trying to get into the industry, and it's sad that it's so much harder as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Do you think when you started out it was easier to get into the industry?
It's difficult to say. I don't think it was easier, because you had to get on, you really had to get with a recording company. Whereas today, it is slightly different. As you say, you can do all this, recording at home and then streaming it and doing all the rest of it. And I mean, there's quite a few artists today that have made it themselves by recording something in their...
That's how Adele started.
Yeah.
She started posting videos of herself online and got noticed.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easier in that way, that you can be a bit more self-sufficient now than, years ago.
But even when you're with a label now, you don't always get so big.
No, of course you don't.
It's just
again,
luck.
Again, Macie, it's a lot of luck involved in our business. Things happen and you have no control over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to end off our interview by asking what advice you would give to any aspiring artist.
I would say that, you're going to meet with all sorts of disappointments. It's part of the business. And there's a lot of people that start off and they think, I can't handle this, But if you're really, really determined to get into the business and to succeed, you have got to keep on. You've got to take the disappointments and make use of them, And that's all I can say, because you're going to have them anyway, the disappointments. And also, however big you get, you think you've got something in your grasp, and then it's taken away because you don't control it. And that happens. So you just got to be very determined.
Yeah, not everything is a smooth upwards curve.
No way, no.
Even how I feel in sixth form, it's all up and down, up and down.
Oh, I'm sure it is, yeah. I'm sure it is, yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
If you're determined.
Yeah, I can do it.
And I know you are, Macie.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for talking to us today.
Not at all.
I really
thank you to
appreciate
Alan,
it.
your sound man.
Yeah. Alan's been amazing. Well, thank you.